Okay, chapter 79 of Kagurabachi released yesterday, and I think it is one of my favourite chapters in the whole series. With all the very character and story-driven last few chapters, what I really wanted was just an all-out sorcery versus sorcery fight. Enchanted blades are cool, but we needed to see some of the side characters really cook, and we finally got that 79 chapters into the manga. Also, for the record, I'm afraid you're gonna have to just sit and watch these Kagurabachi chapter reviews with mostly just my beautiful face cam talking to you, because recently the main two content creators for Kagurabachi that I know, OG Daffy and Dynamic Weeb, have gotten copyright strikes for doing Kagurabachi stuff and showing panels. So if you want Kagurabachi chapter reviews weekly, then we're gonna have to deal with more of this and less of, you know, showing panels, because I don't want to get nuked into the ground by YouTube. But yeah, as I'm sure you know, this is Azami's chapter. Finally, after 79 chapters, one of the goated trio is finally actually showing us what he's got. And let me tell you right now, Azami is that guy. Because if there's one thing I've been wanting to see in this manga for such a long time now, it's a non-enchanted blade sorcerer at the top of their game fighting another very strong non-enchanted blade sorcerer. I just want a bit of sorcery fight, okay? I know it's not necessarily very story-driven or character-intensive, even though it can be if Hokuzono does it well. But what I really wanted was just like old-school shonen battle, just two strong-as-hell dudes fighting. And I also love the fact that Azami and Shiba, especially, are kind of like these sorcerers at the pinnacle of sorcery that can contend with these like Daten Seki enhanced and enchanted blade wielding, sometimes, you know, enchanted blade wielding dudes. The fact they can stand on that level just through innate sorcery I find so cool. So the fact we're finally getting to see just like the strongest of the verse go up against each other is really cool, and I really like it. There's some good Hakuri stuff in this chapter as well, so I'll start to break it down and we'll go through it bit by bit, alright? So let's go. Okay, so the chapter begins with Hakuri waking up and meeting one of the council members, the guy with the weird mask on his face, who actually turns out to be really small, and his name is Kudo. Now, Kudo explains to Hakuri how they plan to have Hakuri use his now restored storehouse sorcery to actually put the Shinuchi inside of his storehouse so that no one can ever access it, because as we all know, if the Shinuchi gets in the hands of either Yura or the sword wielder himself, then we're cooked. Yeah, I think Hakuri is going to be very important here, but unfortunately he has been nerfed. You see, in order to save him and his sorcery, they had to transplant part of his nervous system responsible for the ISO sorcery, and then use that to basically repair the part of him that was damaged from using the storehouse. I don't understand how that works, but it's a thing, apparently. But it does mean that both of the sorceries have been limited or nerfed in some way, but we don't know what those limits are yet. It does make sense, though, because it would be very inconvenient to the plot if Hakuri could just, like, keep transporting things whenever he likes. Like, Tobamune is registered, so he could just take Tobamune away from Samura at any point. And that kind of poses some problems. So giving it a limitation, maybe like Yuta's copy when he got restricted to 5 minutes, maybe having a set limited amount of moves per day to use the storehouse could be a good limitation, but it has been nerfed in some way. Anyway though, Hakuri is not the main part of this chapter, so I made that section short, and we'll just move on to the like unbelievably hype and aura moments that we get in this sorcery fight chapter, bruv, because it's so good. Right, so it turns out that actually the 7 people surrounding Kamanabi HQ are not actually all Hishaku. There is a few Hishaku, but the Samurai Hishaku, who has now entered the first level, is with 2 very strong and scary sorcerers who are not Hishaku. They're just like hired guns pretty much, but they're not even being paid because they just love killing Kamanabi members, as they've demonstrated against 11 of them in the past. You know, they've said they've killed some strong Kamanabi guys. They keep getting gassed up as like these really strong, ferocious fighters. On the first level, there's actually these junior field officer level Kamanabi fighters who would normally deal with these threats, but these guys have been said to be too strong for them to deal with, so they were told to lay low behind their like protective concealing barrier that should hide their presence from the intruders, and let let Azami come up and deal with it himself. But these guys are so skilled that they managed to detect the exact number of sorcerers on that floor hiding through their concealing barriers, this is Hokuzono gassing up these 2 characters as like these really strong guys. And I said in my reaction stream, which I'm gonna play some clips from in this video, that This is so just Hokuzono setting up these two to be really strong for Azami to come up here and one-shot them. Oh, no. Wait, that is so what these non-Hishaku guys are. Wait, just pause for a second. Bro,
yeah.
He's doing that thing where I'm trying to think of a good example of this. Where, who does it? You know, sometimes in just anime and manga, when you introduce these like new characters and the author just like gasses them up. And then they exist to be one shot by like, bro, Azami's gonna come in and waste these fools and then 1v1 the Hishaku, bro. Which is exactly what happens. So it is awesome. But yeah, they get lured into a trap, basically. This Hishaku guy knows what's going on. He knows it's a bit too easy so far, and he's been lured into a trap. They all end up in this amazingly awesome room, which I will show you, that is called the Threat Elimination Grounds, and it is basically just a locked-in arena with a live band just to provide, you know, hype moments and aura, just to give them that little Utsuhime Gakuganji boost, you know? And then as they're waiting in that trap, Azami himself, Soshiro Azami, we get the full name drop, walks in with his trench coat, looks at them, and just thinks, nah, bruv, you guys are cooked. And he locks in for the 1v3. These two sorcerers, they jump him immediately, right? They've got their chain sorcery, yellow chains, wrap around Azami, and using raw physicals, just raw physicals alone, yeah? He snaps their chains. Now, like I said, in my reaction stream, when I was about halfway through the chapter, I predicted that Azami would come and one-shot these guys, right? Now, I'm gonna show you my reaction to the panel after Azami breaking the chains, all right? Just watch this. Oh, bro, I'm telling you, listen, I'm calling it right now. When I scroll down, they're both dead, bro, okay? Because he broke the chains. He's eyeing up that Hishaku sorcerer, bro. These bums are getting slammed, bro. Yes, brother, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Hell yeah.
You called it, bro.
Hell yeah. Oh, God, I'm gonna have to make a chapter. Yeah, so he basically, he didn't even use his own sorcery. He just straight up one-banged each of those dons in the face and caved their heads in with a single punch. And it's said that Azami's fighting style is just straight up assault and battery. He's the definition of a kick punch merchant. We haven't seen his sorcery, so he might not be, but his whole thing is to just walk in there and batter people. Like, completely demolish them. So these guys were just gassed up for Azami to come in and destroy them. Yeah, it's really amazingly cool to finally see a high-ranking Kamanabi. He's a colonel, which is the very top rank of the Kamanabi's ranking system. Or well, rather, the ranking system was actually a military system in place before they became the Kamanabi, because before the Kamanabi, they were the anti-sorcery organization or something like that. Basically, they were just the military, the sorcery military, and the ranks in the military tend to reflect strength. He's obviously very high up, and at the age of 18, only the age of 18, right? He was made colonel. He could be higher than that right now, for all we know. But at the age of 18, he was made colonel, which means he is insanely strong, because that is the very top rank of field officer. And it definitely shows, because this guy is locked in. He deals with those two easy, but then we get some really crucial information about the night Rokuhira died. Right, because Azami thinks back to it, and he tells us that Shiba, as soon as he detected that someone had invaded Rokuhira's premises through his barrier, he got there in 10 seconds. And Azami confirmed that from the information Shiba gave them, that they completed their entire operation to kill Rokuhira and take the blades in that 10-second time period before Shiba arrived. Because as Yura said, they had a hard time getting past Shiba's defenses, and it really seemed like they did not want to fight Shiba. I'm just saying, Azami and Shiba both seem to be getting some crazy upscales in this chapter, you know? He then recalls Chihiro's description, I believe, of one of the Hishaku who was there that night when his dad died. And remember, Azami was good friends with Chihiro's dad. He was good friends with Mr. Rokuhira. So he saw the samurai dude standing there with his Eggman mustache. And he went, "It's you. Finally, we meet. Because it's you. You killed my friend," and you can see Azami is so mad. And he clenches his fist and locks in as the narrator tells us that the execution grounds is where threats come to die. I'll be honest, narratively, this actually could be very interesting because we need some character development for characters like Azami and Shiba and Hiyuki. The fact that we're finally going to get that, as well as maybe some development and backstory for other Hishaku members, that can be explored in this fight, which is why I think it is actually very good. But even if it wasn't, even if it was just a straight up sorcery fight, like mindless shonen power system shizzle, then, you know, it still works, because I think we've had such a narrative intensive arc so far that what we really needed is just this very cathartic release of violence and aggression that has just kind of been pent up, and we just get to see these two go at each other. So I think the next few chapters are going to be really exciting. But yeah, Azami, the fact that he was so pissed off by the fact that this samurai was there when Rokuhira died most likely means that Azami has now cleared himself from traitor allegations. Azami is the GOAT, bruv, alright? He is no traitor. I'm so sorry I ever doubted you, bro. If you still betray us, I might take a dive off. I have faith in you, man. Like, don't let me down. And please don't die here either, because that would be hella underwhelming. But yeah, this guy is so cool. And he hasn't even used his technique yet. His little lightning bolt thing that he does, he hasn't used it yet. So it's looking good, bruv. Like, this series just keeps getting better and better. But yeah, Azami is he's locked in and he's raring to go. There is just so much hype moments and aura in this. I love how angry he got, and I love the fact that we learned that they, you know, did the whole Rokuhira invasion thing in 10 seconds, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's really ramping up now, and it does make me wonder where the other Hishaku are. Like, where is Yura right now, and why are they really here? Because they said they wouldn't invade Kamanabi HQ without an enchanted blade, and yet here they are doing it. So it makes me think Yura's plans changed slightly and they have a little ace up their sleeve. Because otherwise, I'm not going to lie, I think they're outclassed here. But yeah, we're going to have to wait till next week to find out what happens next. I'm hoping we just stick with this Azami versus Samurai dude fight, because it's so cool. But yeah, I do apologize for this not being as highly edited as my normal Kagurabachi content. It is just like out of fear of getting striked by Shueisha. But yeah, I'll be trying to do this, like just cover the chapter and give my thoughts on it weekly if I can. Remember to like and subscribe. I will be posting more long-form Kagurabachi content later down the line. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and tune in next week.